All right, welcome to another Trade Alert video live stream. Again, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We're talking everything about the NBA. Just got done with a long NBA draft full review and breakdown, discussing all the trades that happened, picks, teams that won the draft, teams that lost the draft, surprising people who dropped in the draft, and people who were picked a little higher than I would have liked in last night's draft. So go watch that video. We'll be putting timestamps with it, and yeah, subscribe to the channel. We're doing a lot more stuff with the off season and everything. I want to talk about this Lakers deal. I got it pulled up here for from Woj's tweet. We have now understood that the Lakers are sending also 2 picks along with what you see here on the screen. It is the Lakers acquiring Russell Westbrook for Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and a 2021 pick that I believe was the second pick from last night's draft. And my reaction to it. So, looking at, and I believe we can actually pull it up here in just one moment. Let's, in fact, let's do that. Because I'm really interested to kind of see what the cap situation looks for both teams now. So let's go to Lakers and Wizards. So the one thing I really kind of catches me off guard, honestly. So basically the Wizards, is this really the best that they could have done to like a good enough return for Westbrook? I will argue that it is kind of. I can't really see another team that really needed to get another like high paid point guard. Like the Lakers definitely were an option there. So it is surprising that happened. But here's the payroll. You know, Westbrook's the highest paid player on the Lakers now. So they have him, and then he could opt in or out of his player option. He might, kind of interesting to see what happened there next offseason. So looking at, again, that their situation with their cap sheet for the Lakers, again, all of this money, all of their roster money is going to Westbrook, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. So they still have to get figured out, like, okay, so can they still maybe do something with the sign and trade with Schroeder? I'm not sure about that. Matthews, Caruso, Markieff Morris, Jared Dudley, Drummond, McLemore are all unrestricted free agents. They also have the option to bring back Talen Horton-Tucker, who, you know, there's been reports that say that they want to do that. And so how much is his deal and how for how long? And then again, so we have the Lakers, probably not the Clippers as much, because I think teams are worried about Kawhi's injury, or I should say players are concerned about Kawhi's injury. The Nets, the Bucks, maybe the Suns. Like, so there are going to be teams, but it's going to be a bidding war for the Lakers and the Nets when it comes to these veteran players. So like, think of a guy like Danny Green. Does Danny Green want to go back to LA, or does he want to go to Brooklyn? That will be an interesting, or does he want to go chase money somewhere? So this 3 of Westbrook, LeBron, and Anthony Davis is really interesting because they're going to attract a lot of people. But are they going to attract more people than what the Nets can, or other teams can, or, you know, whatever? So how the Lakers now fill out this roster is going to be really interesting to see, because I don't think Schroeder's coming back. What they could get from a potential sign and trade for Schroeder is interesting. And maybe they can get something back, but I don't know. Regardless, they have, let's see, 85 plus 35. That's about $120 in cap, in money. When the amount that you can pay for a team, the salary cap is 112, and they're already at 120 with just those 3 guys. Crazy. So now, you know, they'll probably use their mid-level exception as wise as they can, and then try to bring in guys for the minimum, because that's all they can afford, and hope to extend some guys that they can, like Caruso or Horton-Tucker. So interesting to really see how they're going to build out this roster. Now let's look at Washington. They still need to kind of get the whole Davis Bertans situation figured out, but they themselves are a pretty deep team. You know, Beal KCP, Kuzma. Again, some defense that's coming back. Kuzma and KCP, Montrez, Thomas Bryant will miss the beginning of the next year. But like these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this 5 right here is pretty solid. Roy Hachimura, can Denny Advia do any better? They also made a trade for Aaron Holiday. Can they also get Chandler Hutchinson involved a little bit more? Do they bring back Neto? Daniel Gafford gave him some good minutes from Chicago, from the Chicago trade last year. They also have Corey Kispert as well. So I don't think there'll be players in the free agent market, but wow, Washington looks a little different, and they have depth. However, they just kind of have the one guy now in Bradley Beal who's their star. King Queese has a question here. He says, what's going to happen to Drummond? So I'll pull it up here real quick for you. Let's pull it up here. Obviously Drummond is a unrestricted free agent, and so now he might go chase money because the Lakers can't give him a whole lot of money in the first place. He could easily say that he's going to take less money and stay with the Lakers, which he might do, but he could also, again, make more money somewhere else. Initially, I was kind of thinking like a Charlotte would maybe overpay or pay a little bit more than the Lakers could for Drummond. But I think he is most likely gone, and they'll just try to see what they can find out there. And again, this is only if he is going to say, I want more than what like the veteran minimum that you guys can give me. So yeah, that's Drummond's situation for King Queese's question that he had in the chat. Let's look here. So again, looking at the Wizards side, they have depth now, but again, they only have just the one guy on their team, which is Beal. Interesting trade. So one thing about the Lakers and I looked at this a lot when kind of last year, like what lineups were good for them to use. And ultimately it is Anthony Davis at the 5. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're still going to look for another center. Maybe it's Drummond, maybe it's somebody else. But I think that they're going to pair up another center, a defensive center, to along with Anthony Davis. Westbrook's defensive numbers have been a little bit slipping lately, as the last few years. So I don't know if he provides defense. I don't know if he definitely doesn't provide shooting. Now he does provide the playmaker that they kind of want. So my question is kind of like, how often is LeBron, like we have yet to see LeBron kind of, okay, hands up in the air, like I'm going to take a play, I'm going to take a few plays off fully. And let this guy run the team and I'll play off ball. We just haven't really seen a lot of it. Now, he did it in Cleveland with Kyrie. He's done it a little bit with the Lakers here with Anthony Davis and letting him kind of work in the post. But he hasn't really done it a lot. So are the Lakers handing the keys to Westbrook in a way and saying, okay, you're going to be the guy who's going to get everything and kind of get the offense set up and all these different things when LeBron's taking a play off or when LeBron's not in the game? Interesting. The one thing that I kind of targeted for the Lakers, or I would have targeted for the Lakers, is a guy who could shoot. And I just looked. Westbrook has not shot over 40 or over 50% effective field goal percentage in his career. So, and the Lakers were a little bit, their effective field goal percentage, it was down from what it was when they won the championship, because they had guys like Danny Green who could shoot. They had good performances in the bubble from guys like Kyle Kuzma, KCP, other dudes. I know people want to bag on like Danny Green for not being good, but again, during the regular season, he was shooting the ball pretty well. They had rim protectors that they just didn't have this year with Dwight Howard and with JaVale McGee. So, look, I can understand why the Lakers make this move. I think in LeBron's mind, in the front office's mind, they need another guy who can maybe match up with the Nets, because again, the Nets are the favorites going into next year. So is there a way that LeBron, AD, and Westbrook can match or beat Harden, KD, and Kyrie? What an epic NBA Finals. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm already looking forward to next June, because can you think of better storylines? Kevin Durant versus his old teammate Westbrook. LeBron facing his old teammate in Kyrie Irving. Harden, and KD and Westbrook being in a finals together for the first time since when they lost to who? LeBron in Miami. There's so many storylines that go along with the finals that features the Lakers and the Nets. And look, we've had some down series in the last few years. Obviously, there's also the KD and LeBron rivalry. So, man, that would be an epic finals. And I think that's what we're kind of facing here. Kawhi's injury really hurts the Clippers, and I just don't know if they can do anything. The Nuggets are injured with Jamal Murray. This isn't a great like the trio of Westbrook and LeBron and AD. I don't think it's like an ideal fit, but I think it's enough to get out of the West, honestly. And if they were to add DeRozan, man, that's crazy. Now again, you're still not getting shooting, but you have 4 really talented players, and assembling this big team to go face the Nets. And I think LeBron sees that, and he notices that. The front office, I think everybody noticed that if the Nets were healthy, they're probably winning the title last year. Yeah, it is. It's crazy to see this trade happen. And again, Utah, another team. I don't think they, as currently constructed, I don't think they can beat, assuming everybody's healthy, a Westbrook, AD, and LeBron. Yeah, this is it's interesting to me. I think the Lakers, barring any health setbacks or anything like that, I think they can make the finals and play against the Nets or the Bucks. But yeah, that's my initial reaction here to this Westbrook trade. Obviously, it happened yesterday. Had a lot of draft content to get through, so I want to talk about that. But yeah, this trade. Look, I kind of get it for Washington. They want to try to open up money to maybe get somebody to pair alongside Beal, but ultimately the Lakers win the deal because they get the best player available. Now, how well he fits in LA is still yet to be seen, but and interesting. Obviously, the storyline, Lakers are must-see TV, not just because like the players and like we think they're going to be good, but they're going to have to work things out to begin the season. So we'll definitely see how that goes. But other than that, interesting trade, fun trade. I'm excited, and yeah. We'll end our stream here. If there's any news, again, we're covering everything possible under the sun when it comes to NBA content. We are trying to see, we're hearing rumors, seeing what's kind of happening here with the trade, with the draft, and with some of the trade market. Free agency's coming up. Subscribe to the channel. We're talking about every single move that we can, and reacting to all of it. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun off season. And lots of storylines coming. We're going to be covering it all. Again, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, tell me everything you want to get off your chest, and I'll be here to listen and answer questions as best as I can. And everybody enjoy their day, and hopefully